The new balance patch preview is here, and there's a good amount of good changes, some bad changes, and well, not that many changes at all. So I'm gonna make a bit of a summary of all of them right here. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support me, and let's get into it. So we have the patch here. I'll leave this in the description with little, with these little thingies, with these little icons, so it's easier to see. I'm not gonna go through literally every one of the changes, as for that kind of content, probably just go watch Teapot. He'll make a 50-minute video about literally every one of the changes. But I'll make a bit of a summary of almost everything. Right. First, I want to preface this that this whole patch seems like it's mainly focused on making weapons that were not used that much, like Scepter on Elementalist, like Shortbow on Ranger, a bit better. So all the ones that nobody would use, maybe. Oh, and Sword on Thief, Sword on Thief. All these weapons that people wouldn't use, just make them a bit more powerful so people start using them slowly, right? Also, the same thing goes for utility. Literally, almost every utility in every one of the specs has gotten their cooldown reduced, so people can actually replace them, rather than using those DPS utilities. There's, this should help people maybe considering going for something else. And this is actually a very, very good thing, as most of the builds that you bring in open world and even on raids, you just get all utilities into damage utilities. Even though they don't do that much damage, the other utilities are just not that good, so people just don't take them. So hopefully this will give us more variety overall. That being said, we start for some changes on PvE with Elementalist Scepter. This will provide them, hopefully, another weapon to use. Most of the weapons on Elementalist are kind of not used. Everyone just uses Sword and Warhorn as they're so powerful. So maybe, hopefully, this will be enough. I'm sure that the Snow Crow's lords will probably see if this is gonna be enough to replace it with swords. And if it's not, I hope that Arena changes it and buffs it even more to make them actually worth using. Same thing goes for Dagger, but Dagger is gonna be buffed in Warsoul and PvP, so hopefully people will use them in those game modes. Staff skills, and you're gonna see this a lot in this patch. Abilities that are like essentially fields that would like do pulse CC like every few seconds. Before you would you would deploy it and you would just slowly start getting CC. Now it's just gonna be instant. So this will make staff abilities on Ellie actually a bit better, which is pretty cool. Also reduced a lot of how we said before, cooldowns off of utility from Ellie, which is pretty nice considering the fact that Ellie just doesn't use that many of these things. They didn't use utilities, so you should just get damage. So hopefully these will make it so, well, first of all, they have more survivability, but also have more utility to use instead of just going full damage. Also some trait changes to get more, more survivability, more healing, more barrier. Yes, more barrier, and of course also more Condi cleanse. Look at that. Remove a condition from yourself when you successfully combo field with a lab finisher, Diamond Skin. That sounds pretty fun. And remove a condition from yourself and a Violet when you successfully combo field with a blast finisher. Pretty cool. Pretty soon, hopefully people take it. I guess it'll depend on which build it is. Soothing Guys, honestly, this one is just, I guess, yeah, this note, it's just, you straight no triggers after using a healing skill instead of when it critically hits. So this actually will make it so you can use it more, it just doesn't trigger literally randomly. Just use it whenever you want, when you use your healing skill. It essentially buffs your healing skill now. And this one, Flow Like Matter, just makes it get, more damage on water. It's a trade on water. I'm not sure if anyone will take this, but I mean, I guess that's kind of nice. Soothing Power also gives you more vitality, so more survivability for Elise. Tempest now, getting some Fury on Overlord Air, some changes, so it also does more damage, so hopefully this will make, a build like, Fresh Air Tempest a bit more useful, specifically paired up with the Scepter changes. We'll see. Also it gives more might with Feel the Burn, and yeah, it's targeting more the Fury problems of Tempest. We're just gonna be able to get more Fury with Overlord Air and Heatsink. Yeah, so another buffs like for more boons. Like at the end of the day, Tempest, because of the way Overlord works, is sometimes hard to, get that going. Although it's probably gonna still be hard to put those boons in, specifically because of how the mechanic works, how you can be interrupted in the middle of it, and also because it doesn't have an insane radius. So we'll see if this is gonna be enough. Probably not, but at least it's a bit of better things for Tempest. Weaver, actually I'm kind of excited for this one. More scepter changes, so people use them and go for Tempest in PvE. Also some changes to one ability here. Oh, I guess it's nerfed in PvP and Warper's World, but buffed in PvE. Well, there you go. And reduce the cooldown from 20 seconds to 50 seconds. Alright. From Earth and Synergy, which is... I'm pretty sure... Yeah, it's a dual attack from Scepter, right? From Air... Yeah. From Air and Earth. Also, some changes in terms of utility, which is super cool because, honestly, Weaver doesn't have the worst utility. Stone Resonance is kind of fun, gives you more barrier. Twist of Fate gives you another dodge. And now it's going to be way less cooldown, so you can actually use it in PvE now. Maybe. Hopefully. Same thing for Catalyst. Weaver and Catalyst both, being very squishy builds. So hopefully with this, people use them a bit easier and, have a little bit more ways to deal with being damaged. Engineer, a lot of changes in terms of, as we said, in utility. All of these abilities are just completely, way less cooldown now. Will that make them so people use them? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. And Priber and Throw Branch, they're gonna do more damage as well. So is it gonna be like, oh, now we're taking Priber and Throw Branch? Probably not. All the other utilities are very strong right now. They also buff grenades, so you're definitely not gonna get rid of those ones, which is kind of weird because grenades has always been very, very important in NG builds, and I kind of like the fact that maybe they were not as strong, so you can actually replace them with something else without losing so much damage, even if you're losing damage. But I guess that's not the case. I guess they're going for, if you're an NG, you are playing grenades. That's the idea. Also changes in Magnet. So you can't. Oh, this is also a thing that they're targeting here. There's a bit a strategy in Warper's World where you pick up the commander, you figure out who it is, and then you pull them in and just blast them, so the rest of the squad doesn't know what to do. This is getting nerfed insanely hard with Magnet. Same thing is gonna happen with Moa, Signet of Humility, in Mesmer, and there's another ability that I forgot which one was. But look, I'll go through them and I'll find that eventually. But the point is that every ability that does that right now in the game is getting deleted, so that way that strategy is not being, you can't do it anymore. I think it's a good idea considering the fact that alliances are coming and they need to be successful. But at the same time, there's not really a lot of changes in the Warper's World other than that. And it's a bit weird considering the fact that a lot of people don't really like the meta right now, the Condi meta that we have on Warper's World. So if you're gonna go for that and try and, prepare for the alliance release, maybe do that too. I guess they're a bit scared of like making an even worse meta, maybe. But hey, like this is not the biggest patch ever, so maybe it would have been a good idea to do that. Also more changes, yeah, there you go. Some trade changes for more, removes condition when user uses as an elixir skill, emergency exit, gain fury when you gain might and about threshold. I mean, just little trade changes for things that people would not use normally. Holosmith also getting nerfed overall because, well, grenades got more damage. So now Holosmith overall is getting nerfed because that way it kind of evens out. If you buff one thing that you already use and you don't nerf the other ones, yeah, you're gonna get essentially Holosmith completely buffed, but they're kind of taken into this account, right? So that doesn't happen. Guardian, all the wardings now do damage on the moment that the warding appears on the floor. I mean, no damage, CC damage, Defiance bar damage, and the moment that they appear, just like we talked about in the staff Elementalist abilities. Hunter Wards didn't used to do CC, now it does. That's the Longbow 5, if nobody knows. Yes, there you go. Contemplations, all the meditations getting less cooldown. Nobody uses them, so pretty good. Hopefully this will make some people use them. Focus Mastery, now you can grant resolution when using a focus skill. This will probably be good for PvP when using focus skills. Probably for the core Guardian PvP build that some people use, which is honestly a fun build. I actually played it a lot back in the day. And also more resolution. Yeah, they're essentially buffing that build. This trade now also grants resolution to allies when you use a meditation skill. Yeah, they want you to be using that. I think they want you to be using that. Dragon Hunter, Fragments of Faith, reduce cooldown, and that's actually an interesting ability. I like that personally. It does damage. It boons it gives you stability, it cripples, and it gives you Aegis. So seems like a very stacked ability and nobody would use, but maybe now that it has 10 seconds less on cooldown, people will put them in. Firebrand getting a bit of buffs in terms of healing and in terms of damage and page cost of most of these abilities, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be that much considering the fact that the problems with Guardian with Firebrand is not really the fact that you have you have a lot of pages to use and you don't have enough, you don't have enough pages. It's not really that the problem. It's a usability problem. It's the fact that you have to like go from weapon to the tome to the weapon to the tome like all the time, specifically in quickness builds and heal quickness, and also because it's kind of hard to apply quickness with the little tiny mantras that have no radius. Personally, I think a lot of people say that it should just become exactly like what you have on Herald, like just a radius around you. I think it shouldn't be that way. It should be more like you do have a maybe tiny-ish radius, maybe you make it a bit bigger, but whenever you apply it and you hit it, you're like, dude, you're good with quickness for the not the rest of the fight, but like a good amount of time, so you don't have to worry about it instead of just having to search for people to give them quickness. Like, yeah, I think that's would be way more interesting and would make Firebrand feel very strong, while at the same time being different from something like the other specs. Yeah. What else? Mesmer trying to buff Mirage. Doesn't seem like they're gonna do it though, at least in PP and Warver's World. We'll see, but probably not. Fixing a bug from Phantasm Berserker, changes in some of the utility. I think Condi, Chronomancer is getting affected by this. Maybe we will actually get some Condi Chronos coming in with mirror images. We'll see. Yeah, we talked about the MOA change for commanders to not get impaled. And some changes to mental gymnastics, so you get more vigor if you take this straight, which is kind of cool. Maybe this will affect in some way Mirage, although we'll see. Vigor is kind of important for, because you dodge a lot, but I'm not really sure if you even go for the straight line in Mirage. Maybe you do. I actually don't play that much that, so I'm not really sure. But it doesn't really seem like Mirage is getting a lot of love, not even in PvP nor in PvE, which is kind of sad because nobody plays this build. They are getting stunned through glass a bit, in a bit of a cooldown reduction, but it's just not. I mean, yeah, Evade Backward and Game Mirage Cloak. Is it really that important? Not that much. I guess it's just utility. Not gonna fix the whole spec. Virtuoso, Power Virtuoso though is getting buffed, which is actually pretty cool. And I like that because everyone plays Condi Virtuoso, and I actually don't like Condi Virtuoso much. I would much rather play Power. And is it enough to compete? Considering the fact that how good Condi Virtuoso is, probably not. But it's moving in there, and hopefully they continue that. I'm guessing the reason why they haven't really nerfed Condi Virtuoso is because they don't really have a replacement of it. So maybe Power Virtuoso can be that. And considering how easy to get value of is Condi Virtuoso is, this would probably be a good idea, and then maybe they can nerf Condi Virtuoso a little bit, or maybe they try to. Instead, told me this. This is what he thinks. Maybe they want to every build to be like Condi Virtuoso. We'll have to see how it ends up happening. But yeah, I don't think there are bad changes. Maybe just not enough. And that's honestly the biggest thing on this patch. Yeah, it just seems like they're trying to do things, but they're not really going too hard on them, so it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of change, because there isn't, and that's kind of, I don't think that's very good. We'll talk about that later in the overview at the end, but yeah. Necromancer, more buffs to swords, so people can use them in PvE, do more damage in PvE, and also PvP and Warver's World. Also some utility changes, usable quality of life changes to boon corruption in Gorge, right? So now the flip over skill and the normal skill does corrupt instead of just the flip over skill doing 2 corrupts, which is pretty useful, so you can interact with them easier. And some changes to utilities, or defensive utilities and mobility utilities, so they appear more frequently. Harbinger also getting some protection, which may be the thing that makes Harbinger, actually be played in PvE content. Would be nice to see. Elixir of Ignorance, because like quickness is kind of stacked right now. I mean, Herald is just too good, and even though Power Harbinger may be doing a little bit more damage, nobody uses it because like the Herald just brings so much more to the table. But maybe this will make it so it can be an essentially offensive Herald that also gives protection, right? So we'll see. Maybe it won't be enough, but who knows? It will be kind of fun. And also some damage reduction when they're entering Harbinger Shroud, because it's very squishy. Ranger getting some shortbow Condi buffs in PvP and Warforged and some in PvE. So we'll see if that's enough for people to use it. Longbow getting some power buffs as well, which is super nice. So now you can actually use longbow if you actually like that type of ranger build. And some cooldown reductions of many abilities that people don't use. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We'll see if people start using Spirit of Nature, which is a very cool ability, a revive ability. It's pretty nice. We'll see if this is enough to replace it with something else. And also, I think I heard Teapot say this, and I think he's probably kind of right. It does seem like they want every weapon to be used in different situations, and they're kind of doing it with Ranger. Like every weapon right now, well, hopefully Shortbow too, is kind of being used. Greatsword, maces, longbow, right? Axe, like everything, right? For different purposes. So I'm guessing this is what we're gonna get slowly in every spec. They're definitely trying that with Ellie right now. They probably won't succeed, but it seems like Ranger is kind of there, which is very exciting, to be honest. Some changes to the juvenile Aether Hunter that I don't think nobody uses. So if you use it, look. They buffed it a little bit, so use it more. Haha, Pog. And then Soul Beast, some changes as well in Warforged and PvP, and some quality of life changes as well, and some bug fixes. Untamed, this is actually an interesting one. You know how when you unleash your pet becomes green at all times? Well, they're making it so it doesn't happen for too long. It just happens for a little bit. You unleash, it becomes green, and then it slowly fades out. I guess a lot of people didn't like that in the first place, so well, there you go. If you like that, I guess, well, unlucky for you. Some bug fixes as well. Yeah, there you go. And Revenant, they're trying to make Herald in PvP come back, but it probably isn't enough, enough damage or enough healing here to make it work in PvP. But we'll see. We'll see if it's enough. Probably not. PvP is kind of stacked right now, so probably not gonna be enough. Renegade, essentially trying to do the same thing for Renegade in PvP and trying to make PvE Renegade also good. But look, they didn't really change that much. They just made State of Environment, the big portal that shoots like missiles, make the damage a little bit like. Because it's kind of, the radius is kind of big, so it's kind of hard to hit all the bullets into one person or into one boss. So now they're making it smaller, so you can actually hit them all, which is, I guess, an actual buff in PvE. But is that gonna be enough for people to bring Power Renegade? Probably not. So Hall of All for One, they also buffed that protection from 2 to 3 in PvP only, and for PvE. They made it so increased damage to the Revenant when a legendary Renegade skill is used. Is it going to be enough to bump up the power? We don't know, because we don't have the percentage of how much it was increased in terms of damage. So, yeah, I don't think... you do take this in Power Renegade, but... I mean, I guess we'll have to see. See if this actually works. Thief, getting some swords... some sword buffs. They did say that they don't think it's going to be enough for people to actually bring sword. Which is weird, because like if you really wanted to make people use sword, why not just buff it more so people actually use it? Like, I get it, like, oh, you don't want to unbalance things, but sometimes getting a new toy is more important than balance. And I think, in considering the fact that we have the expansion coming in 3 months, it would have been nice, yeah, a nice thing to have. But I guess, well, we don't. Unload, more damage as well, Pog. And it's a very cool ability on Pistol Thief. It's the only one you use on Pistol Thief. So hopefully one day we're gonna get only one attack, only auto unload Thief build soon, I hope. Venom's getting a bit more quality of life in terms of how they are used, which is pretty cool. And golden reductions of utilities nobody would use. Kneel also raised the cost from 2 to 1 in PvE only, so it's easier to kneel random, when you wanna unkneel. And you want to kneel back, it'll cost you less, which I guess is kind of nice. I don't know why it costs anything, to be honest. It's already a kind of, it's the main reason why people don't play Deadeye. Might as well just fucking make it to 0, but I mean, that's just my opinion. Uh, Shadow Sap becoming a bit more, you know, what's the word? Applies the splash effectiveness of boon duration to allies from 50% to 75% in PvE only. Kind of cool. It makes it a bit more usable. We'll see if it's gonna be enough. Well, I guess Scepter is already kind of good, but I guess it's just gonna be easier to give boons to allies, which is maybe the biggest annoying thing about Shadow Sap, and of course about Spectre as well. That was silence reduced in terms, yeah, in PvE. There you go. Reduces cooldown. And Warrior is actually very, very interesting. We got some changes to Inspiring World. Now it doesn't give regeneration, it gives just healing, which is nice because if you already have regeneration through some other spec, boom, just, or I guess the Warrior itself, you just get more healings. So Berserk Warrior, a buff. Another buff here as well, increases more stability, Banner of Tactics, which you probably would use in this build, and there is the cast time from 0.8 to 3 seconds. Same thing with Banner of Defense, which is very cool because banners are very annoying to use. They're not really reactive because they take so long to actually cast. So now it'll be a bit easier. Honestly, they should just make it so it's instant. I don't know why they don't do that, but hey, there you go. And also reduce the aftercast by 0.3 seconds. Sure. Some of these utilities get less reduction, of course, as well. And some might regeneration for this builds as well on these traits here. They also made it so might makes right in Warp's and PvP. Has a bit of more healing, and they made it so Shrug It Off that usually would trigger randomly. Now you only triggers when you heal. So now your conditions removal can do on demand when you want it to happen, which is pretty cool. Martial Cadence is the biggest change that I think on Warrior, and I really, really like. This will give you stability in PvE and quickness in Warp's and PvP. And the thing is, you would use it whenever you use your you would get it when you use your adrenaline attack, your burst, but it had an internal cooldown, and it still has. So, you know, sometimes you would want to use it, and you would not be able to use it because it had the internal cooldown. But now, if you swap weapons, it'll refresh, and you can use it again. So if you see, oh my god, I need to get some stability, you change weapons, this is perfect for Berserker, and then you get your Soldier's Focus again, you get your stability. And also now, you're gonna remove conditions from nearby allies. Isn't that awesome? So this is actually very, very, very cool change. They're really trying to make this build a thing that people use, and I'm super happy because honestly, heal Berserker, that's super funny. Okay, that is so funny. The fact that you have a heal warrior in this game is probably one of the most funny things ever. It's probably, I'm gonna try, you know what? I don't like healing in this game, but you know what? Maybe I should try with this, because I think that's pretty good. I can make a video. The only MMO with warrior healing or something, I don't know. And they also reached the quickness on PvP and Warp's World, because look, if you're gonna be able to use this more times, you're gonna have to reduce it. The effect in PvP and Warp's World to not make everything just complete blast. Also, hide and focus. This trait now also grants the user outgoing healing for a duration when striking an enemy with a burst skill based on adrenaline spent. Pretty cool, but I'm pretty sure it actually competes with something else, so maybe people won't use it, but at least they have another option. Spellbreaker, they're trying to fix some of the horrible utility it has that nobody takes ever. It's probably not gonna be enough. Sight Beyond Sight. Now, wait, what did it say? Now also removes 3 damaging conditions from allies. But it's not really, it's almost like a Shake It Off, I guess now. It will do that, and you will reveal nearby allies and make your next attack a critical hit. But honestly, I don't know, this, which is kind of good, I guess. But like, Shake It Off is also a Stormbreak. This isn't a Stormbreak, so it's gonna be a bit of a hard one to replace in Spellbreaker. And I think it should, like, if you're, you know, if you're an elite spec and you have one utility, that should be better than the core utility, I think. So in this case, yeah, they need to go even further beyond. And Feather Fruit Grace, that just gives us super speed and resistance. It only gives it to you too. Like, it's just, this just sucks. This just sucks so much. They reduced the resistance and super speed in PP and Warp's World only, but reduced the cooldown to 25 seconds. And reduce the cooldown in PvE as well. But nobody's gonna use this. You're gonna have to rework this one. Okay, give it way more stuff, so actually people use it. So, I mean, it's a nice try, but probably not good enough. That being said, the whole patch seems like they're trying to do the same thing, right? Just bringing outliers that nobody would use into par. But it just doesn't seem like it's enough. I get that there's some cool changes. I'm excited for the Renegade changes, if they actually work. I'm excited for the Scepter changes, if they actually work. I'm excited for the Power Virtuoso as well, if they actually is enough. But look, if you want people excited about your patch, What people want is some new toys to play with, some new things to do. And if you don't give that to them, well, they're not going to be excited, even though there is a good amount of changes in this. And that's what we've seen in the Reddit. So if you want people to be, you know, oh, this balance patch is so good, just give them something new. It doesn't really matter if it's completely unbalanced. You can balance it back later. Just give us something fun. Why is sword? Why do you preface the whole sword change with, oh, it's probably not going to be enough? Make it enough! You can do whatever you want. Give them more damage. It's okay. It's PvE. Who cares? Okay? You're not going to end up like killing Sarah CM or Legendary Mode with Swords on Thief, I don't think. You did this with the new weapons too. Just go for it. Like, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The ideas are cool and the direction is good. Just go a bit harder on it. It's okay. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. That's what I think, at least. Tell me if you guys think I'm wrong. And tell me what you think about this balance patch. Subscribe to the channel. Go to my Twitch to watch me live. Go to my Discord in the description to hang out off stream. And see you guys around. Love you all. Bye-bye.